Yo, what's good, YouTube, man? It's Gary with another Fan TV, man. Back at you with a video. Like the content of this video, go ahead and smash that like button. Like the content of this channel, go ahead and subscribe, man. Look, all right, Ravens training camp, day 5. They put the pads on for the first time, and yeah, it was a physical day, right? As you would expect when the pads come on. So let's talk about it. Injuries, offense, defense. Let's get into it, all right? But first thing I want to talk about is real quick. Melvin Gordon did an interview or talking to somebody, I think it was like Kyle Goon or something like that, and he said that J.K. Dobbins was holding out or holding in, I should say, because he's at the facility but not practicing. Um, if that is the case, that to me doesn't make much sense, right? J.K. Dobbins doesn't have much leverage. While I get that he wants to get paid and might be frustrated, if he actually is holding in for a new contract, he's really only hurting himself, and he seems to be getting bad advice on that end. I want to see J.K. Dobbins get paid. I want to see him get paid by the Ravens. But for that to really happen, he has to play this year. It just hasn't been enough on the field, and that's not really his fault, to be quite honest. It just hasn't been enough production on the field to warrant sitting out for a contract. It just hasn't. Those two things haven't aligned just yet. He's on the team. He says it, so maybe that was happens to be the case. But I'm still waiting for J.K. Dobbins to say something. John Hall or Eric DeCosta, somebody that's right there with the situation to say something. Just because I don't want to put that he's holding in out there and he's not. That's not the case. So Melvin Gordon's comments was interesting, but I still want to hear from J.K. Right? The Ravens have no reason to keep it a secret. If he's holding in, it is what it is. Let people know. Right? He's not going to hurt anything. He's not, as far as we know, he's not up for trade or anything like that. So just let people know what's going on. That's my only thing. That's all I got to say about it. So I'll leave it at that. All right. Now, for the people who were there practicing, things like that, Zay Flowers came back today from his sickness like John Harbaugh said he would. And Pepe Williams had his first practice of training camp today. I'm excited to see Pepe back, honestly. He's another name thrown into the cornerback mix along with guys like Brandon Stevens, Darius Washington, Arthur Millette, who I haven't talked about on this channel, from the Steelers that the Ravens signed, okay? Pepe Williams is in the mix with those guys for that slot corner position. He's going to have his work cut out for him to get that job. All right. Pup list, same guys. Ricard, Bateman, Dobbins, Bowser, and Trayvon Mullen, who's now back on the Ravens after being cut briefly, not practicing. All right. The only injury today, the only bit of, I guess, bad news was that Gino Stone limped off, at the end of practice with like 10 minutes to go, they said. He got caught like near a pile-up near the end zone. Somebody probably rolled up on his ankle. Hopefully it's just a little slight sprain, nothing crazy, and he gets back out there on the field, but we won't know until, I guess, tomorrow at the very latest, right? At the earliest, I should say. All right, now, offense. According to Justin Rebeck, offense had their best day today. They were sharp. They were precise all over the field. All the quarterbacks seemingly played well today. Nelson Aguilar, in particular, as far as wide receivers go, had a standout day with numerous catches. He also caught a touchdown in the red zone from Lamar Jackson with Brandon Stevens in coverage. Apparently, it was like a little slot fade on the goal line. Not in the goal line, I'm sorry, in the red zone from like 11 yards out. And, yeah, he made a play, man. So Nelson Aguilar is a guy that he's interesting because Ravens have all these other receivers, and Nelson Aguilar is that vet, that steady presence in there who you could find yourself being that guy that's like, we need to play on third down. I need somebody who's reliable, steady. Aguilar before that kind of role, right? So he's been pretty consistent, honestly, dating back to the OTAs training and then beginning of training camp. He hasn't really slowed down, so he's playing a nice, consistent pace. Doesn't really have any bad days, so he popped up today with a good one. And all the quarterbacks in general, Lamar Jackson, Tyler Huntley, good days today, right? So speaking of Tyler Huntley, they said that he had a long touchdown to Laquan Treadwell. I think it was Justin Rebeck again, said that it might have been his best pass of training camp so far. And then Shamar Bridges, man, superstar from preseason last year. I think you remember that Titans game in preseason where he made a name for himself amongst Ravens fans. So he also had a touchdown today. So the offense had a really good day, sharp, and that's great, man. When the pads come on, you don't want to see the offense shrink. You want to see them grow and continue to play well, and that's what happened today, right? So they didn't really give me too much news on running backs who had the best days, things like that. But it seems as though the quarterbacks were sharp, wide receiver play was sharp. Nelson Aguilar in particular coming down with a TD. Laquan Treadwell, Shamar Bridges on second teams, third team coming down with touchdowns. So it's like a good day overall for the offense, right? Now, on the defensive side of the ball, that doesn't mean that the defense was bad. It was actually quite opposite. All right, the defense was a strong unit, but the defensive line in particular was pointed out as being the best unit out there on the field today on both sides of the ball. All right, and in particular, Justin Madubuike. Justin Madubuike apparently had one hell of a day. All right, he had 2 sacks, and he would have had a 3rd sack if the play hadn't been called dead. Now, Justin Madubuike he's too far right now to be called a breakout because honestly, I think his breakout season was last year. And I don't think he got enough credit for how well he played last year amongst, the Ravens fans, honestly. But he needs to just continue to get better, upgrade that play. Now, he trains with guys like Aaron Donald in the offseason. He seems to want to model his game after Aaron Donald. Now, that's a high goal. He probably won't reach that kind of goal. But if he could become, I don't know, 60%, 70% of what Aaron Donald was, you raise up a hell of a player on their hands, right? Madubuike had a good number of sacks last year. If this year he can get his sacks up to 8, from that interior, your Ravens are looking at something really special. He's in a contract year, so he's motivated to play well. He's one of the guys that I really want the Ravens to bring back, right? I think he'll play this year. I think he'll earn the contract that he's going to get, wherever that may be. So I don't have any worries about that. But I definitely don't want to see him leave the team, leave the building. I think he is a special player, rushing the passer from the interior, okay? Now, also, they said it was a very physical practice. D-line was dominant across the board. Also, that the linebackers were tiptoeing on the edge of being too physical. Patrick Queen knocked the guy down. They said Trent Simpson did the same. So that's why I said before in the videos, right, where it's kind of hard to see linebacker play sometimes without the pads, right? Because so much of being a linebacker is imposing your will on your opponent, right? And it's hard to do that without pads on, 7-on-7, So today, linebackers made their presence felt, made that physical nature felt out there. And that's what you want to see, right? The Ravens have a good core group of linebackers, and I'm not surprised by that at all that they had a good day. All right. Now, one guy I want to talk about, maybe another guy to add to the preseason watch list, right? As the list keeps growing, keep guys watching. Maybe one of these guys make the team, right? That is rookie outside linebacker Malik Ham. He was pointed out as having one of the plays of the day in practice. Went for a pass rush move, knocked the offensive lineman down with the move, and then would have got a sack, if he was allowed to hit the QB, okay? So Malik Ham, he's from Baltimore. He actually went to City College High School, if you know, we just call it City around here, but that's where he went to. Number 59, 6'3", 250, and he went to, I believe it was Louisiana Lafayette, all right? So that's another guy to watch out for. Apparently, he's been having a good couple practices in a row, but today when those pads came on, he was able to show that physical nature and really get after the offensive lineman. So the Ravens always tend to get an undrafted free agent on the roster. So any number of guys can be that guy. I mentioned a Jaquan Amos who caught a pick a couple practices ago. Now I'm mentioning Malik Ham. There are a bunch of guys who are undrafted that the Ravens usually give a chance to make the roster in some way. They have a couple of contenders right now. So that's pretty much what happened today at practice. The first day of pads was pretty physical, but nothing too crazy. Only one injury, that's Gino Stone. Like I said, he got rolled up on his ankle. Hopefully it's nothing too serious and that, he's back out there next practice, or even if he needs to take a rest, then come back out the day after that. Hopefully he can do that because Gino Stone's a good player. He's a good backup, and he actually can start in this league. So if the Ravens have to have another injury this year to a Kyle Hamilton or Marcus Williams, God forbid, don't want those players going down. A guy like Gino Stone is good enough to step in, play well without any significant drop off on the back end. All right. So yeah, man, that's the Ravens news for the day, man. Offense looked good, sharp, but the Ravens defensive line, the unit that I was the most worried about so far, has probably been the best unit of training camp. They're getting their names thrown up there repeatedly, right? The D-line grab a hold, the interior and outside linebackers. So they've been a strong group. I don't know. Does that mean the Ravens offensive line is not as good as we think, or is this D-line better than we thought? We don't know. We'll learn some more in the days to come, man. So I'm gonna get out of here, man. It's Gabriel. Just another Fan TV. I'm out.